What's up, everybody? Extramillion here once again with Totally Sick Fallout New Vegas Edition, and in this episode we've gained access to the inside of the Sierra Madre Casino, but before we can gain access to the vault, Father Elijah tells us that we have to deal with our three companions in whatever way we see fit. The first person that we're going to go meet is Dog, but before we do that we have to go disable some of these security holograms, and then turn the power back onto the casino, which will disable the rest of the security holograms and actually enable the dealer holograms, which will allow you to gamble at the casino. Dog himself is up in the kitchen that's in the door just behind us, and when you go to face him, there's a gas leak that's in the room that he's in, which he will set off and kill the both of you unless you find and repair 3 valves. Unfortunately, one of the valves is right in front of you when you enter, but the other 2 are directly, basically, in his line of sight, and as soon as he sees you, he'll start the process of trying to burn you both alive. The easiest way to stop this is to just run up to him and start a conversation with him, after which you can convince him either to merge his personalities together if you have a high enough speech. You can also let one of the personalities take over his body, either God or Dog, but we don't have a high enough speech skill to do any of that, so our only other option is to just kill him. God or Dog, it doesn't really matter which. Neither one is particularly tough, except for the fact that they have a bunch of health. He does have a very powerful weapon, which is basically a piece of concrete on the end of some rebar, but as soon as you get the ability to fight him, you can just use the cross special attack and cripple one of his limbs, and he'll just drop it, which at that point, all you really have to do is outpace his damage with your own.
Casino's woken up, paying attention to...
Now, at any time during this, before you actually leave, you should gamble at the casino, and I'll tell you why. There's actually 2 really good reasons. The first of which is, obviously, all the money that you can earn. Because the Sierra Madre Casino was built before the Great War, it does not pay out in caps. It pays out in pre-war money or pre-war currency. But it does so at a ratio of 1-to-1. So for every 1 Sierra Madre chip you earn, you gain 1 unit of pre-war money.
Still might be something.
Now, the limit that you can earn before you get banned from the casino is 10,000 Sierra Madre chips. So you can turn that in for 10,000 units of pre-war money, and then back in the Mojave Wasteland, back in the regular game, 1 unit of pre-war money is worth 10 caps. So 10,000 units of pre-war money would be worth 100,000 caps. So that's not a bad chunk of change. Unfortunately, my charisma special stat and my barter skill are very low, so I can only sell them for about half what they're worth. So I only get about 50,000. But still, that's more than every other casino in the game combined, so not too bad. So here you can see me fighting Dog. I've already disarmed him. Basically, while I'm waiting for my AP to recharge, so I can get like 4 good hits on him in a row, I just make him circle this table so that he can't get me. The other main reason that you would want to gamble at the casino is because if you earn at least 7,500 chips, which you would obviously do on your way to getting banned, on your way to 10,000, you earn an item called the complimentary voucher, which you can then redeem for 1,000 Sierra Madre chips, which is useful here because you can just earn an extra 1,000 units of pre-war money. However, in the Abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker that led us to this DLC in the first place, just outside of that secret room we unlocked, is a little drop box, and every 3 in-game days, another complimentary voucher will appear in there as long as you earned the first one here by getting 7,500 chips. Now, since you can't come back to the DLC, normally this wouldn't do you any good because Sierra Madre chips can only be redeemed here in the Sierra Madre. However,
You've got one of the floors reestablished.
inside that room we unlocked is a fully active Sierra Madre vending machine. So think about it like this. Every 3 in-game days you get a Sierra Madre complimentary voucher which you can redeem for 1,000 chips. And at those vending machines, we've been collecting holotapes this whole time that will allow us to unlock things like weapon repair kits, stim packs, you know, basically everything that we've used thus far in the game, but we've had to pay for. So since you can get 1,000 chips for free and redeem them at the machine, you basically have an unlimited amount of healing items and all the game's, some of the game's best items. Alright, so the next person we're going to go see is Dean Domino, in this theater here. As soon as you pick up these this key and these partridgers, he starts to talk to you, and then he tells you to get out of the room immediately because the security holograms in here will turn on. He tells you to run to the left, but really he means his left, which would be your right. What you have to do is you're backstage now, but what you have to do is get to the top of the stage where the hologram projector is, and replace the security holograms with a hologram of Dean singing. The easiest way to get backstage is to destroy the 2 hologram projectors. There's actually 3 holograms that shoot the lasers out of their eyes, but the one that's in the middle on the stage, he doesn't really warrant any concern.
Damn it. Well, so much for that.
So once you've destroyed those, you'll just want to turn off the sound system, which turns off the speakers that are trying to blow up your collar.
Hey, you're making real progress. Good.
Now, since we've been nice to Dean this whole time, we don't have to actually kill him. As soon as we start playing the hologram and turn off all the speakers, the door that goes backstage to where he is will unlock, and then you basically just have to listen to his entire life story, which is fairly interesting. He details basically that he was in a sort of love triangle with a woman named Vera Keyes, who some of the security holograms are modeled after, and the guy who originally built the Sierra Madre Casino itself, called a man named Sinclair. Sinclair actually made the casino and the vault as a way to protect him and Vera from the bombs once they were going to go off. But eventually, you know, the whole love triangle thing blew up in everybody's face, and, you know, Dean was stuck here while the other 2 ended up killing themselves.
Long enough.
Oh, those electric ghosts.
Also, once you go up the stairs behind him, you can pick up a helmet to complete the rest of your outfit. You may have noticed before I turned on the power towards the beginning of the video, I picked up a reinforced version of the armor I'm currently wearing. Well, the helmet that I just picked up there is the reinforced helmet. So now that we've dealt with Dean, our last person that we have to go see is obviously Christine up in the executive suites. The suites are a little difficult to run around in. The best advice I could probably give is go towards the building. Upstairs is essentially shaped like a giant square, and towards the top of the square is a long hallway connected by walls that have been busted out between the apartments.
From the music archives.
Oh, you may also notice that the main lobby area is now infested with the ghost people. But the top area of the apartments have 2 of the Vera Keyes looking security holograms who are hostile until you can reprogram them. Basically what you want to do is go to the long hallway that's formed by all of the busted out apartment holes and head in one direction or another. If you head all the way to the left, that should lead you to where you actually need to go.
Recovered.
I just want to leave.
In what looks like an old world hotel room.
Let me leave.
Glass.
Sinclair!
2 rooms.
Sinclair!
I actually get lucky in some of these upcoming parts. There's 2 computers that you have to hack,
I'll do what I can from here.
and both of them I get
Not latest tech.
on the 3rd try without having to
Primitive.
replenish my allotment of attempts, or without having to get rid of any of the fake passwords. So this one lets you this one that you do disables the hallway speakers. This one you don't have to hack, but you just have to do it to disable the big security door that's to your left here. And then finally, there's a computer that you can use to reprogram the holograms to be non-hostile. It also allows you to unlock the lockers that are to your left, which gives you a bunch of sets of the Sierra Madre reinforced armor, which just allows you to repair the armor that you currently have. Now, of all the people in this DLC that we wanted to be nice to, Christine is the one that we definitely wanted to be nice to, because not only does she help you out in the boss fight, but if you're mean to her here, she sets a bunch of traps that lead you to her, and then she'll try to kill both of you, and this area is very difficult to make it out of the area in time before your collars explode.
I'm so sorry, Sinclair. Sorry. I'm still being recorded by the holographic system.
So once we finally make it in here, we'll talk to Vera, and she'll give us a key that will allow us to access the elevator to go down to the vault. However, we can't actually enter the vault without the password, and to get the password, we have to have the voice of Vera Keyes, who you can see here, who I just ripped the dress off of her skeleton. In order to get her voice and the password, we have to take her audition tape that we got from this thing, and then go all the way back down into the lobby, and grab some voice clips, and then come all the way back up here. Since we have to go all the way back down to the lobby anyway, I would take that time to go gamble, since it's pretty much the last time you can do so.
The elevator to the casino vault is locked. Find.
So now we have everything we need, and we can head all the way back down.
Jumped over the laser paladin.
Oh, one bit of interesting trivia is the quest or mission where we decide what to do with Dean Domino is called
That's all I need.
Curtain Call of the Tampico, and the reason it's called that is because in 1948 in Tampico, Mexico, there was a movie that was filmed there called Treasure of the Sierra Madre. So we'll beat up some more of these ghost people and get some more XP. And then we'll jump behind the computer and grab all of the tracks that we need. And then once we're done with that, we'll do a little montage of gambling. Alright, so now that we are done with our little montage, we can go cash in our winnings and then go back into the executive suites where Christine was and take the elevator down to the vault to go fight Father Elijah. If you listen to Father Elijah talk, what he actually wants is control over the cloud, that red noxious gas that's sort of hanging around in the Sierra Madre. He wants to weaponize it and use it to take over the rest of the Mojave. Although I'm sure he wouldn't be opposed to what most people will consider the actual treasure of the casino, which is inside the vault, is 37 gold bars.
Check the suite. Found the
Now, each one of these gold bars weighs 35 pounds in-game, so 35 times 37 would be 1,295 pounds of gold. Now, the highest possible carry weight that you can even have in the game, with maxed out strength, the strong back, and the burden to bear perks, the Courier Duster, the NCR version that you get from completing the last DLC, the Lonesome Road, and the Hoarder trait, even all of that would only give you a carry weight of 400. So there's no way, outside of using a few tricks and or glitches, that you can actually walk off with all of the gold, because once you deal with Father Elijah, or he tries to deal with you, the whole place starts to self-destruct, or your collar will explode. Either one of those will kill you if you're over-encumbered before you can actually make it out with all the money, which is supposed to be the theme of the DLC anyway, is, learning to let go. Now, that area that we were just in before, with that blue force field looking thing, that was the vault itself, but we can't get to it because of said force field, so we sort of have to take the long way around, dealing with platforms and speakers and security holograms and all this other nonsense. Now, I did say that enterprising players, you can probably look it up on online somewhere, have figured out ways to get out with all the gold. Now, if you were able to somehow get all 37 gold bars out, that would be almost 390,000 caps, provided you could find enough people that you could actually sell it to. Now, once we get into the vault, we have to convince Father Elijah to come down into the vault so we can fight him. The fight itself is actually pretty easy. There's only one bit of setup that you have to do beforehand, and that's inside the vault there's a generator that powers some of the turrets that are surrounding the vault. The vault has three basic sort of defenses. There's Father Elijah himself, and then there's a bunch of laser turrets that shoot at you, and then there's the speakers that will set off your collar. The speakers are all towards the back of the room, which basically forces you out into the open so that you can either get shot at by Father Elijah or by the laser turrets. Some of the turrets can be dealt with by going up to this generator, and if you have a unarmed or melee skill of 50, which we obviously do by now. Yep, there's all the gold. But if you have that, you can punch the generator so hard that it explodes right in your face. That's one of the options that it gives you. That will disable most of the turrets. Take one gold bar just for a souvenir. Now, the other turrets and the speakers that will set off your collar can be dealt with if you are nice to Christine. Because if you were nice to her, the whole DLC, she'll call you over the radio once the fight starts, and she'll tell you that she disabled the speakers, and then shortly afterwards, the rest of the turrets will explode. So basically, all you'll have to deal with is Father Elijah himself. Apart from having slightly more health than a normal human NPC, he's not very difficult at all. The only tough part comes from the weapon that he carries, which is called a Gauss rifle. Sometimes also known as a railgun or a coil gun, named after Carl Friedrich Gauss, who was a German mathematician. Basically, the weapon in real life uses electromagnetics to fire metal stuff really fast. Now, a coil gun and a railgun are technically different things, although they do both use electromagnets. The Gauss rifle would actually be a coil gun, not a railgun. But anyway, in the actual game, even at full health like I am now, under normal circumstances, the Gauss rifle could kill me in 2 shots. So I took some Med-X, which is an item that reduces all damage that you take by 25%. So with that, I can probably take like 4 or 5 shots. However, it doesn't really even matter because he never actually hits me anyway. Also, the gun that he had I just punched right out the window, so I don't actually get to pick it up, unfortunately. Now, you may notice he spawned with another one, and that's a special property of his. Father Elijah actually has 2 Gauss rifles. The developer seems that they've thought of everything. If you are somehow able to disarm him, which I did, he immediately spawns with a NPC-only Gauss rifle that's coded as a companion weapon, meaning it doesn't use ammunition, it cannot be disarmed, and it cannot be looted from his body. So, unfortunately, no Gauss rifle for me, since I punched the other one out of his hands into oblivion. Also, the big downside against the Gauss rifle is that it has to reload after every shot, so he only got off 3 shots. Now you notice that I leveled up there, and the perk that I chose at level 20 is probably the most useful one that we'll get in this playthrough, I would imagine. It's an ability called Super Slam, and this only works with melee or unarmed attacks, but it gives those attacks a chance to knock an enemy down. It's 15% for one-handed weapons like the one I have now, or 30% for two-handed weapons like, big clubs and stuff like that. Basically, the reason that this is so powerful is each hit that you do has that percentage chance to knock someone down. So if you can find a weapon that you can attack really fast with, each one of those has a 15 or 30% chance, depending, to knock someone down. So you can basically stun lock them into never getting back up again.
We all have.
So once you go back to the elevator, as you saw, you are basically teleported out of the casino back up to
Dog fell in the Sierra Madre.
back up to the villa, and then it gives you a brief recap of what happened to all the players. Obviously, Dog and Father Elijah died. Dean Domino got fed up and left and went back to the Mojave, and then Christine decided to stay and sort of be like the Batman of this little city, and she doesn't even actually get attacked by the ghost people.
She watched over it silently.
You've heard of the Sierra Madre Casino.
So that's it. That's dead money in a nutshell.
The legend.
All that's left after this little credit sequence is to go back into the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker and pick up all of our stuff and continue on with our adventure.
A city of ghosts.
One cool thing is that if you go back into the room
Shining
that we unlocked earlier, you can access one of the computers that's in there that we couldn't get before, and you'll unlock a tape called Father Elijah's Recordings that you can take to another Brotherhood of Steel member that we've already met, Veronica, who we met in... she was actually our first companion. And you can take it to her, and she can do something special with it that I'll mention in the next episode.
Wait a moment. Before you go,
So now that we're out of here, it's time to rest up and then
we hope
start
you enjoyed your
getting
stay.
tons of healing items and selling all of our stuff for tons of cash.
Letting go.
But that is all for this episode, and I will see you guys next time.